Pedro, I'll ask you first. Is this your most personal of films? It's almost confessional in a way.
Yes, it's almost confessional. I think I project myself in all my movies. I think my whole biography is in the 21 movie that I did. But it's true that the origin of this script, it was myself. I mean, the reference that I took during the writing, it was just my career and even my sickness and sometimes my state of mind and part of my memories. So this is the one that represents me more and in a more intimate way. But it's not, but anyway, I'm absolutely projected in the movie, but it's not exactly literal, my life. I mean, I was in all the path that the character of Antonio is, but I didn't walk in the same way, not all the times. So.
Now, you've all been friends for a long time, you've worked together for many, many years. Antonio, was it strange being your friend?
Strange is probably not the word, probably unusual. It's just, weird to play a character that is alive. It's more weird if that person is your friend, and it's more weird if that person is your friend and is behind the camera and directing you. So it was unusual. And at the beginning, probably more unusual than normal. We have a problem with one light. Is that okay?
Okay, carry on.
Then I can take off.
Carry on. You can take
I
off
do
your
it?
glasses now.
No, if they are shooting.
Take them off if that's better, yeah.
So, but then once we got to start principal photography and we start shooting, it became just a character that I had to play, and it became a character I had to play that I had a lot of information from, and at the same time I can be provided with more information as soon as I wish. Just going there and asking where we were going. The whole entire process for me was about being humble, abandon myself into the hands of Pedro, open my ears and open my eyes and try to understand two things: why he wanted to do this movie and why he called me to do this movie. That was pretty much the process.
Would you ever say no to him though?
No.
What? What's he say?
I would say no to you, and I say no.
Well, he could
Dare
anyway.
he say no to you?
No, he could. I sent him the script, and of course the first condition it was that he really loves the script. If not, I didn't dare to ask him to do it. But anyway, I have, and also for him, when we were shooting, I didn't have the impression that I was treating him like, he is doing my life. I just direct him for a character that it was different from the others that we made in the 80s. But I never had the impression that I have a mirror and he just saw my life. No, it was just a work. I was a director and he was an actor. But what is fantastic is that many people in Spain told me that there is a moment, which is very flattering for him, that there is a moment that they don't see Antonio and they see myself. And I was very shocked because it was not the intention. He never tried to imitate me. But anyway, he kept completely my essence because I don't know how to say permeability. And
Yeah, permeability.
He impregnates himself about my presence that he didn't like by osmosis, that I don't know if has a good technique for being an actor, but it's a good anyway. He was very impregnated by myself.
Now, Penelope, you've been in many of Pedro's films, and quite often he strips you of your glamour. Do you like playing those kind of roles?
Well, to me, it's not about that. It's like you are there to service that story, that character, and then whatever look that character needs comes later. And we do that together. Like, he's a director that spends months rehearsing with the actors and also choosing like every single piece of material for the set, every button of your shirt, like every single thing. And that's why you can tell every one of his shots, you know it's a shot from Almodovar, because of the amount of time and dedication that is behind the print is like in every single shot of the movie, in all his movies. So, but we have fun through all that process. I have to say, like the times that I've spent with him in all the movies that we've done together, the treasure of having like 2 or 3 months rehearsing like so many hours every day and creating this together, you almost never get that, you know.
Do you find that Hollywood treats you differently to Spain? Do they get the best out of you, European actress, Hollywood?
I feel I'm very lucky Spanish actress that also gets to work in other territories and other languages. I feel really blessed that I have all these opportunities. Of course, the relationship that I have with Pedro, I don't have with everyone I work with, because he's very unique and very special, and we have this very strong connection from the day we met. So I don't feel like I could compare him to anybody else, because he's just very special. I'm gonna talk like if he wasn't sitting like right next to me, but he is, and we all that know him and have worked with him know how unique he is. So you know too when you see his movies.
Another man you have worked with, of course, is Harvey Weinstein. His trial starts next month, and the Me Too campaign is almost at the 2-year mark. When this all first came out, were you surprised?
I was, because some of them were my friends and they could not share with me, and I understand why they couldn't, or they decided not to share with me. And I was like, I could not believe it. I mean, we all knew like he was very difficult in many ways, but I never had that experience myself, but some of my friends did, and I found out when all of this came out, and I was like completely shocked.
Do you think that the industry has moved on, has changed as a result?
This is not about the industry. This is like, I say, when they ask somebody like me, when they ask you and you are an actress or a singer and you have a public, people know who you are, so they're gonna ask you. But we have to speak in the name of all the other women that don't have jobs. Nobody's ever gonna put a mic next to them and ask them if they live a fair situation in their work environment or even at their home. You know, we have like women dying every single day in our country to the hands of their own husband. So there is a lot to worry about. And we cannot talk about this problem like if it was something only affecting our industry. I can't do that. This is like this is everywhere, and
you don't think it's just peculiar to Hollywood? It could happen in Spain?
Unfortunately, this is not only something that affects our industry.
Going back to the film Pedro, the character Salvador is very much shaped by the Spain of the 80s. You yourself lived under a dictatorship, under Franco, and have experienced democracy. Do you think that has shaped you as a man, and how so?
Oh yes, absolutely. I think, my education, it was during the 80s. I mean, the first one, it was during the 60s. But I was formated, if you can say that, during that decade. And I was very lucky, he also. I was very lucky to be young at the 80s when the democracy arrives to Spain after Franco dies. Because, just that experience, it's impossible to explain what it means for a person, you know. That explosion of freedom in every sense, it is a unique experience. And of course, I was formed, as you say, shaped by that period of the history of Spain. Then is when I become the person that I am.
Now, Antonio, you lived through it as well. How do you view Europe now and the rise of nationalism?
Well, I think the whole entire world is suffering from the same sickness. And this sickness is that the traditional parties have not been able to actually find a solution to the tremendous problems that we have. And it's the situation of not equality between the north and the south, all around the world. And then the people have a tendency, tremendous and dangerous tendency to go to the extremes, left wing or right wing, looking for the answers. And the answers are not there, unfortunately. They are not in establishing walls and just closing, the possibilities of other people just to develop themselves. There is a solution probably for these problems, but that solution is out of the reach of politicians. It's a solution that takes place in the 40, 50, maybe 60 years, maybe in a Marshall Plan for Africa that we don't have. Why? Because the politicians are playing with these 4 or 8 years, terms that they are playing with. And so they all play for the votes, not for the solution of these problems in the long term. It's something as simple as this. You know, if, for example, in the case of immigration in Africa, if we don't go to help them, they definitely are going to come to us. We're living in a very confusing world, you know. The level of politicians is going down very, very, very rapidly and very worrying.
And you're a Spaniard who's chosen to live in Britain. What do you make of Brexit?
I don't know. You know, I have to, first of all, I have to respect clearly, because I consider myself a Democrat, I have to respect the decision of the British people. They had a referendum and they got clear, you know, the possibility of voting no to this, but they vote yes. Now, what is going to come out of this for people like me, for foreigners? What is the status that we are going to have in England, in an England with Brexit on? I don't know. And I will have to take a decision if I just stay here or I go, depending on that.
Going back to the film very quickly, quickly again, you won Best Actor at Cannes for your role. I think even I've read that you described it as he is at a turning point in his career, or the prime. Are you in the prime of your career at 58? In fact,
I am a young promise.
No. It's wonderful to be a promise with 58 years.
No, I don't know. Then, you know, there are certain things, definitely, that can change your life, no matter what age you are. Some of those things are coming from the professional universe. Some of the things are coming from the personal universe. I may say something now that it may sound very weird and strange, but one of the best things that happened in my life, believe it or not, is a heart attack that I had almost 3 years ago. And why was a good thing? Because it opened my eyes to really identify the important things in my life. There was a number of things and a number of time and hours that I was spending in things that were not important that disappeared. Actually, that event happened to me. So my family, my friends, and I wouldn't even say my profession, but my relationship with my turf, which is to act. You know, the essence of what was for me acting came back almost like, you know, I have to recover that. And it's funny enough, I think you create an aura around you and some doors start opening, and through that door came Ron Howard offering me Picasso, through that door came Pedro Almovodar offering me probably the most beautiful movie I have ever done, and through that door came also Steven Soderbergh with another movie. So everything changed from that event in my life.